Infor Factory Track for CSI, Miscellaneous Issue. To issue items that are not associated with an order, use the Miscellaneous Issue transaction. Factory Track has a few miscellaneous issue parameters to control displayed fields and processing options that are permitted as part of the miscellaneous issue process. These are defined on the transaction set parameters form for the miscellaneous issue transaction. For this training, we've enabled these parameters in order to show where these fields appear in the transaction steps. Note that this transaction can support label printing by clicking on the label print parameters to define your configurations. If enabled, the label printing form is displayed following completion of the miscellaneous issue transaction. To start the miscellaneous issue process, from the Factory Track Warehouse Mobility main menu, click on the Move It icon. This then displays the Inventory Transactions menu, where you click on the Miscellaneous Issue icon. The miscellaneous issue allows for issue by container or by item. To issue by container, the global parameters must have the Containers in Use parameter enabled. We enter, scan, or search and select the warehouse ID from which materials will be issued. This can also be defaulted based on the user's warehouse setting on the user form. Enter, scan, or search and select the container ID. The location ID indicates the location of the container being issued and is read-only. Enter or search and select the reason code to be applied to the miscellaneous issue transaction. This can be defaulted using the default reason code parameter on transaction set maintenance. Enter a document number for the material transaction reconsolidation or grouping in CSI. This field is only available if the input document parameter is enabled. Click on the Process button to complete the transaction. To issue by item, we enter, scan, or search and select the warehouse ID from which materials are to be issued. This can also be defaulted based on the user's warehouse setting on the user form. Enter, scan, or search and select the item. Factory Track then displays the item description. We can then enter, scan, or search and select the location from which the material will be issued. This field is defaulted based on the inventory parameters. If the item is lot controlled, enter, scan, or search and select the lot ID. This field is only enabled for lot controlled items and is defaulted based on inventory parameters. Enter or search and select the reason code to be applied to this miscellaneous issue transaction. This can be defaulted using the default reason code parameter on transaction set maintenance. Factory Track then displays the on-hand quantity and the available quantity, based on the location and, if applicable, the associated lot for the item. Enter the to-issue quantity. If the input unit and measure parameter is enabled, and if your item allows for alternate units of measure, this field is enabled to enter or search and select. Enter a document number for the material transaction reconsolidation or grouping in CSI. This field is only available if the input document parameter is enabled. If the item is a tax-free imported material as defined in CSI, enter, scan, or search and select the tax-free imports document ID. For non-serial items, the Process button is displayed. Click on the Process button to complete the transaction. For serial items, the Next button is displayed. Click on the Next button to continue to the serial assignment process. Based on the to-issue quantity entered, Factory Track populates the total quantity field. The scan quantity indicates how many serial numbers have been captured for processing so far. We then enter, scan, or select and search the serial numbers for the items being issued. Once the scan quantity equals the total quantity, Factory Track disables the serial field for further entry, enables the Process button. We can then click on the Show List button to view the serial numbers captured for processing. We can click on the Clear List button to remove all the serial numbers captured so far. And we can click on the Back button to return to the previous screen, or click on the Process button to complete the transaction. If the transaction is configured to automatically print labels, the labels are printed. The printing screen is displayed if the transaction is configured to manually print the labels.